Welcome to my Excel class. In this class we'll be looking at the following topics: editing and formatting, alignments and borders, dates and autofills, formula and charts. Then in the next section of this course we'll be looking at advanced Excel. We'll be looking at some special formula in Excel and how to use them. So follow me in this guide. First, we look at the top here. As every other program, is the title bar. Here we have the menu bar. So I refer to the menu bar. I have the file, the home, the insert page. Then I have the sub menus. Under the home menu, you have sections of clipboard. We have the font. We have the alignment, numbers, just like most of the things we have in Microsoft Word. And the ones you see here. Also, when you go to insert, you want to insert special objects, you can get them here also in Excel. We'll be looking at them one after the other. Here we have by default the home menu, and the text is Calibri font 11 size. We call not bold. By default, text are aligned to the left. Let me have this text aligned to the left, while numbers that are used for calculation are aligned to the right. So the alignment is left for text, right for numbers. So here we'll be looking at editing and formatting our text. So if I have this text, probably I have this as items. First, we need to identify these items that I have here. On which cell is it located? It's located in our cell C2. How do you identify cells? Spreadsheet is made up of cells, and the cell is the intersection of your your column. These are columns and what? Rows. So this intersection here is what we refer to as what? Cells, and there are millions of cells in a worksheet. So here the columns are lettered A to Z, and A, B, A, C, A, so on and so forth. You can see here I'm getting at Z, you have A, B, and so on. So we have millions of it, while the rows are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 up to a million. Let's look at the last so the last row we have here is 1,048,576, and the last column we have here is SFD, which is about millions rather. So here we are going to look at our cell that is active. Is the cell that is bounded by this border, shaded border here. That's the active cell. That shows you the region where you type. So if I click here, my active cell is H4, so I can type at H4. So if I'm referencing whatever, I'm referencing based on the what? H4. Now let's look at this scenario where I have something here, C4. Let me say I have 40 here, and I have 30 here, and I have 20 here. You can see that my 40 is in C4, 30 is in E5, and 20 is in F7. So if I want to add them, 40, 30, 20, so I'm going to reference the cells where they are. So I will say equals to C4 plus E5 plus F7, enter. That will give me 40, 70, 20, that's 90. And this cell where I have formula, it's a, and I got the value by formula, is called a calculated cell. So if I click out here, press enter, give me the value of that formula on that cell. So let's move on. Now, whenever you want to start working with Excel, the first thing whenever, anytime, is if you open your Excel, you go to File, click on Print, allow it on the print preview to load, then return to home. Now you notice this dotted line borders here. This dotted line shows the region of your work. So my region bound from column A to what? Column H, and row 1 to row 50. If I enter 51 here and type anything, it's going to be page 2. If I enter anything in J here, J1, is going to be page 2. So take note of that when you are crossing another page or more than one page. So looking at this page, it may be looking tiny. Fine. You can go to page layout and set the orientation to landscape. So when I set the orientation to landscape, you now see that my columns are now ranging from A to N, while my row, which determines the height, is now at what? 32. So I have a wider space but a shorter height. That's on the page setup. You can also use your margin here to customize the page. You can reduce this top, reduce the bottom, reduce the left, reduce the, and you have, see, from N now I have it to what? O, and from 33 I have it to what? 39. So that's how I can increase that. Now editing my text properly. Just like I said earlier, texts are aligned left, while numbers are aligned right. So if I have items, price, quantity, and amount, these items I can format it. See, all of them are aligned with left. I can format it by increasing the size to 18. Now when you increase this, you notice that quantity is hiding inside cell C. So I will click on top here and adjust it to accommodate it. Click on top here and adjust it to accommodate it. So I can do the same thing to this. So that is that. I can increase it, increase it, increase this, increase this. You can also highlight this and what? Center align it. Beautiful. What if I have a number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, and I have this. You see, when you have this is large digit, the digit there is large, so it will give you 1.2 exponent 13, raised power 13, so you shorten it. It's a different thing from when you have a number like, let's say I have items, let me say all, and I have the price as 2,500, and I have a quantity of 100 pieces, which if I multiply this by this, I'll get the answer here. The answer is not showing all the numbers. Look at the numbers on the right hand side. Now the answer is not showing. I'm supposed to have 250,000. So if I bring this like this and I do this, reference equals to B3 asterisk C3, enter, that's 250,000. Now I'll increase this font. Let's take for instance, I'll increase this font to 24. Look at what I have here. See the way it's cutting. This one will cut. In most cases, it will give you ash. So this is 3 exponents 5. Why do I have 3 exponent 5? See, let's say this cell is like this. Like this is what I'm looking for. When you come across situations like this, ash, it means that the digits are more than the width of the cell. All you need to do is what? Come up here and expand it. Expand it further. You have your digit. Okay. Now let's look at. So let's look at alignment. This bulb, where it is now, is aligning to the left because it is a test. So to make it look good, like the title, let me increase the title to the cell 22 and bring this one to 22. To make this, I have to click on this column, highlight it down, or point on top, highlight it down, and I'll say center align. Means that any text I enter here at any time will align to the center. Let me put something like a badge. See, it's aligning center. Another thing I can do is that if I want the same property to be for every text on that particular column, if I click on top of the column, I will apply the same 22 on it. So every time I type something here, it will be the same property, align, center, and size 22. Even if I want to give them color. So here, I'll do the same thing. Price. Let me say price for bags 1,800. See, the same font default of 11. So I'll go up here, change it to what? 22. Okay, let me say shoe is 1,000. Let me say 4,500. And the quantity I'm buying 25. I'm buying 18. Okay, it's supposed to multiply, but I have not calculated this. So this is what will happen. I'm going to give this formula here also. This one property here also 22. Also do the same property here 22. So I'm repeating that. So you may use any property size, font property of your choice. It doesn't matter. So here, next thing I will do is the formula I have here. Remember, this is a calculated sheet. The formula I have here, I want to repeat it here, 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 and so on and so forth, or as many as it is. Maybe I'm working with 1 million records or 1,000 records. I don't have to be typing it one after another. Maybe type equals to B4 as that is C4. No. All I need to do is I click on this first one that I've calculated. Look at the node down here. Drag this node down. And these other ones will be calculated automatically. If you drag it and continue, others will show 0 because nothing has been entered in B6 and C6, B7 and C7, B8 and C8, and so on. So that's why these ones are what? The same. If I remove this, those ones will go, except only when I need them. In our advanced Excel, we'll look at whereby there will be omissions, where the cells are not filled with data. Instead of showing 0 there, it will leave it as blank. Those are the ones we look at in advanced Excel. So here, I've done the calculation. If I go to print this work, you see it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking like the real Excel presentation. Excel is supposed to be demarcated by borders. So that one I'll now go to what? People to home. Then I'll highlight from the first row, first cell to the last cell, or across the range of cells that I need. Click on my what? Border. You get your border from this region of fonts. After B, I, U, then the next icon you see there, click on the arrow by the side of it, you see all borders. And that will give you all borders around the selected range of cells. So go back to print preview. and you see it's looking better. The next thing we are going to look at is the dates and autofill. Let's look at a situation like this item here. I need serial number by the side of it. Fine, as I don't have a cell here, if I click by the side of it, I'll say insert. So I am going to insert entire column. I'm going to insert entire column. So the entire column I will insert, I click on insert, go to entire column and OK it to shift this. But look at this situation. If I click on this and say insert, by it will say shift cell down. If I say shift cell down, it will shift this column down, and you see it will affect this. Situations may come when you need to shift a particular item down, but that's not what I want. Also, if I click on this insert, I'll say shift cell right. You see it will shift from items, leaving the box and other things under it. It will shift this way. You see it shift to the right, leaving this one. That's not what I want, but I want to insert entire columns to the left. So I will say insert entire column, and that will insert it. So here I want to input my serial number. So this serial number, I'll give it a property of 22 as well. Now if I put 1 here, put 2 here, if I highlight this 1 and 2, their sequence is 1. So if I drag this down to give me a sequence of plus 1, so you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So I don't need to be typing one after another. Let me repeat this. If I type 1 here, type 2 here, then click from 1, highlight the 2, go to the node by the side here and drag down to give me an autofill. This is autofill. Now if I type 1 here and click on this down, it will fill it all through with 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Maybe when you want to fill a particular row, column or a particular row with the same value, you use autofill. But when you have a sequence of values, type the first one, type the second one, and highlight the first two, drag down, it will give you an autofill. That is that. Now, okay, I have 1, 2, let me work with 3 here. Alright. Let me say I want to have date here. Have date here. If I have this date, the formula for date is equals to date. Sorry. Equals to date. Open parenthesis. Year. Let me say 1988. Then comma month. Let's say June. Comma, let's say day 12th, close, enter. Yeah, here June is not a figure, so the month works with figure, so I'm going to say 6 and enter. So this is the format for date. Look at another thing. Let me expand it here. See that date is a number, not a text, so it's aligned to the word left, and the format for date is that you write the year, followed by what? The month, then followed by the day. Now if I write it the other way, I write 12, comma, 6, hyphen, 1988. You see it at first, because the arrangement is wrong. The year is 4 digits. The year by default is 4 digits. So when you look at these two dates here, you look at this is a date by formula. That's why you look at the formula by here. It started with what? Equals to date, year, month, and day. Why this one is date by formatted. So it was originally written as 12, that's day, month, and year. The spreadsheet will see it as text, and that is why it's aligned to the what? Left. And if you look at this number section, the property here is what? Date. The number format is date. If you look at this here, the number format here is general, and that is why it's aligned to the what? Left. So this one is seen as what? Text. This one is seen as date, but aligned to the left. Why this one is normal date that is aligned to the right using formula. So there are many ways to get the dates done, but the best way is using the formula, and it will align to the right. Okay, so you can also now highlight this and align it to the right. Let's look at this. If I align this to the right, this is what it will do. Okay, let's proceed. Make this 22 as well. Now this one is 22. You see, this calculated field is not appearing, but this one's appearing. What I need to do is expand it, expand it, expand it, and it will show. Now, when you look at this table again, you see that if I go to File, go to Print, these serial numbers that are added later on, and dates and other values are added here, they don't have the borders around them. So to solve that simple problem, highlight from serial number again, all, and go back to it. Highlight from serial number down to delete this, and go to border and select all border, and the border will appear. So if I go back to File and go to Print, I'll see the work appear well. Now the last work as we're going to discuss here is the charts. The charts. I want to plot a chart of items against their amount, and also a chart of items against their price. Also a chart of items, price, and quantity. So let's look at the first one. Click on the first item, which is ball, down to the last one, and hold your control key. Remember I say hold your control key. Go to the next column, which is amount. Click on the first amount and highlight down. Then release your hand. Go to insert. Select the type of chart you want to. Here I want to insert pie chart, and select the type, either 2D pie chart or 3D pie chart. So I'm going to use 2D first one. So this is what I have, and this is the chart. Now when you insert your chart, make sure that your chart is within your printable column, which is the first page. Okay, otherwise if your chart is appearing here, when you print it, is going to cut half part into page 1, half part into second page. So I have it here. The next thing I'm going to do is my chart layout. When I click on this chart, I go to this drop down here, select the layout that I want. In this type of layout that I selected, you see that what the legends are inside the chart. So here the legends are outside, while the chart are described with what percentage. Here the legends are inside without percentage of value. Here the legends are inside with amount. So I can select this. The legends are on top, percentage describing the angle for each of them, and that is for that one. I can also plot another chart. Click on this tab, hold my control key, click on this, still hold the control key, and click on quantity. Then I will go to insert. This one will be a bar chart, so I can click on this bar chart, and I have this. Now the legend is that series 1 is the blue one. I think it has a higher value, so it's representing the price, and series 2, which is the red one, is representing quantity because it has smaller amount. Now let's look at ball here. Ball is 2,500. Okay. quantity is 100. Now clothing is 5,000. That is why it's high here, and quantity here is what, 8. So it's very small here. So that's how you identify it. Now when you now want to change the legend, right click on the legend, and what, rename it format data. Okay, format data. So I can come to this. So when you come to the legend here, right click on it and select data. So when you click on this series 1, you click on a date, you can series name. So when you now get to this series name, type the name. So that first legend, which is the red color, and that's the legend I selected, is representing quantity. So I'll call it quantity. Okay, that one actually is representing, that's my legend go, it's representing price. So I can re-edit it and call it price. Okay, go to the next series 2 and rename it as quantity. Okay. So this legend is used to identify the items. So next is the last but not the least, the other formulas. If I want to add the price of the amount for ball and shoe, I'll just write equals to, this amount for ball is in E3 plus amount for shoe is in E5 equals to, that will add 25,000, 250,000 and 81,000. Now if I want to add the amount of items from ball down to clothing, so I'll just type equals to E3 plus E4 plus E5 plus E6 plus E7 equals to, so this will give me a total of the whole item set. Just imagine that I'm adding this up to 100. What do you think we do? I'll keep on E this, E1, E2, E3, E4, which is a very longer process. The best thing is, since these items are on range, I'll go to what equals to sum, open parenthesis, the first cell there, click on it and use colon and click on the last cell, which is E7, then close my parenthesis, press enter, give me the same amount. Now what if I want to find the maximum? Equals to mass, open parenthesis, the first one is E3 colon E7, so the maximum value there will display, which is what, 250,000. Now the next one is looking for the average, equals to average, open parenthesis, E3 colon E7 close parenthesis. So you pick the first cell colon the last cell when you are working with cells in range. But if the cells are not in range, maybe you want to pick E3 and jump E4 and jump E6, add up the other one. So you can use equals to sum, open parenthesis, E3 comma E5 comma E7 and close, press enter. So it will add this, but if they are in range, use your colon. So that we have it at this section. In the next class, we look at other advanced